All right, depending where you're at in the country, it's almost food plot time, and we have Jeff Sturgis telling us what he's doing right now in order to not have a food plot failure. Huge, very important topic. Hope you guys enjoy. If you do, hit the subscribe button. Let's get right into it. Here we go. We'll go with Kyle Dottie, 32. What food plot seed variety to plant based on different food plot sizes? Which I know is
I like that question.
Yeah.
No, it's good because I really like, you have to cover your bases. So I look at the three founding food sources for food plotting. The base should always be greens. So I'm looking for the most diversity that you can fit into the plot. And if you have leftover, then you can go to stage 2. But that's the foundation. That's the food plot pyramid. You have to fill that foundation of greens first, because greens of some variety can last the entire hunting season in attraction and nutrition, as long as you have enough diversity. So then I'm looking at a lot of those green plots, even a quarter acre. I'm putting around here, be half in brassica, the other half in late planted beans, peas, meaning late planted at the same time as brassica, sometime in August. And then I'm top dressing the beans, peas, and oats later with some rye, just to add some more life to that, keep the deer off the brassicas. But then they have something on both sides in the same plot. You never want to plant different plots and different forages, because then you have areas of dead spots on your property that aren't working for you because they're focusing on plots elsewhere on the property. That means your stands that relate to that movement, your bedding areas, travel corridors, mock shapes, water holes. Oh, it's really hard. You're making your property a lot smaller because you're taking an 80-acre parcel or a 40-acre parcel and you're scattering out your food. And then only a small portion of that property is being used at any one time because that food source is peaking at that moment. So you put it all into that. So once you have your green foundation, and up north where you need, where there's not a lot of ag, you don't have a lot of complementary food sources, you might use something just like straight layered rye, where you're trying to fill space horizontally, not vertically. And you can't use something like peas, late planted beans, certainly corn, even brassicas, because they mow it down in the dirt before the season even begins. So you use something like rye that's most, and rye grain, not rye grass. Wheat in a pinch too, but it's very browse tolerant. It grows in cold weather, poor soils, and it's the most browse tolerant. So what I started doing a long time ago is, our first frost was in early September in the UP. So about 2 weeks before that, I put 100 pounds down. 100 pounds down 3 weeks later, 100 pounds down 3 weeks later, just broadcasting on top, and that would help layer it. If you have food plot failure, you can throw that down at the same time. So that's that foundation of green, figuring out what's the best green in your area. And I really try to avoid summer, which is the tip of the pyramid. I look at greens first, then corn if you have enough room. So if I have greens left over, then I want to add corn. And corn at least 50% of what the greens are. So if I had 8 acres of greens, I'm going to add at least 4 acres of corn. If I had 6 acres and it seems like it's lasting, add 3 acres of corn, maybe cut down the greens an acre. But that's at second level, and it seems like corn fits just about anywhere in the north half of the country, and that's what we do here. That third part is anything summer. And so if you have enough greens and you have enough corn and you're trying to build a deer herd, then add that summer food source. But around here, you do the deer disservice if you're adding summer food source, say beans, clover, because you're taking deer off the ag fields around here, and they should be spread out. They have more nutrition out there. They're heavily manicured, beautiful ag fields where the deer should be. They have the most volume, and then they can spread out and it's low stress, as opposed to sticking them in a 3-acre food plot all summer long with 15 other deer. It's high stress. I believe it diminishes their body weight, any kind of growth. Stress rules deer. And so that's why that's that last piece of the puzzle. And a lot of times with people that have population problems or having trouble reducing herd population, that first step is to get rid of those summer food sources. So the summer food sources are really, really tough one for people to understand, because they think they're helping the deer. And even in remote areas, northern Minnesota, Wisconsin, upstate New York, the UP and Michigan, in those areas, deer have 5 times more summer food than they need. And that's from John Azoga talking to me, famed deer research biologist, as more peer-reviewed articles than anybody else ever in the country on deer research. But they have so much more food available in those areas. They live high in the hog all summer. We put a food plot out, it could create a situation where there's high stress. Does and fawns that eat that food source all summer stick around, and it just multiplies the problem if you do have population problems. So